Welcome back to J&G Damp Proofing for beginners and DIY. I've been called out to a house today, it's in West Derby somewhere. Apparently they've had a problem with damp. Someone's come out, I don't know whether it's a company or an individual. I know they said they took the plaster off, but I don't know what treatment they've done. But for some reason they can't get them back to finish it. Whereas because they took the plaster off, scratching their heads, they don't know what to do next. So I'm here to investigate the causes of damp and see what we can do to put it right. Welcome to J&G Damp Proofing. For beginners and DIY. First thing you do before you even enter the house, check the ground levels, check the air bricks, make sure they're free from vegetation and they're quite above the ground level. Check gutters and drain pipes, make sure there's no leaks. Now we're in the house, look at the brickwork, it's full of salts, just all dried out. Just crumbling, faking everywhere. But the wall's showing dry. No dampness at all. Just surface salts all over the plaster. Right, I'm a bit concerned about this membrane that's outside. That could stop the water from draining away and could cause a puddle which could seep in under the subfloor, cause a humidity build-up. And that humidity wants to escape, so it starts coming up the side of the wall and it gets trapped between the sand cement plaster and the mortar beds. Because of the plaster, it can't evaporate. So I guess when this fella took the plaster off, this wall was actually wringing wet. And he probably thought, well, what the hell's going on here? Probably got him a bit panicky, so that's why he left it. But he said that was 5 weeks ago. So all that has had time to dry out, so that's why all the salt evaporation on the wall and why it's so dry. So there's nothing wrong with the damp course, it's just trapped salts and a membrane. You just don't use sand cement or membranes like this. This is a plastic membrane. Look at the state of it, it's absolutely wringing wet. It's just trapping water and not allowing to evaporate. So don't use them, and don't just rely on this meter. This is picking dampness up above a meter, so it's picking up condensation. So you need to take a sample and use one of these machines. It's a calcium carbide speedy test. Take a second sample with that and that'll give you an accurate moisture content. So the treatment for this, we're going to brush all this loose salts off, then we're going to put a liquid membrane on. It's called dry seal. It stops the salts from coming back through. Then we can plasterboard it and skim it, and that will solve the problem. This is the cream I use. It's from Safeguard Your. So there's no need for all this. Take the plaster off a metre high, inject it, put a plastic membrane on this section of the wall where the plaster hasn't been taken off. We're going to put a felt membrane on. That's a salt protector. We'll do the same thing as the liquid membrane, but you don't have to take the plaster off. So we'll install that and skim over it. Okay, right, let's start the treatment. So what we're going to do, we're going to start rubbing this wall down, get rid of all the loose salts and any dust. Makes it easier when you're applying the membrane or the dry seal to prevent any more salts coming through. Okay, now that's all rubbed down. Let's go and get our dry seal and we'll start applying it. Works out about £80–90 a tub. So it's not cheap, but it's good stuff. So right, we start applying all this. Give it a good coat. Make sure it's in all the nooks and crannies, and make sure that the whole brick area is done. Once we've applied this to the brickwork, either side of the bay window where the plaster hasn't been taken off, I'm going to start prepping our dry felt base membrane. We measure and cut to size what we need. Once we've got our measurement right, we put a straight edge on it. I put a mark down it with a Stanley knife, and then I use a pair of scissors to cut it. Once we've cut it, there's two sides. There's this grey side, and on the other side it's black. So the black side goes against the wall, so you can say black to back. Once we've got it cut, we can mix our adhesive in a bucket, and you spread the adhesive on the wall just like you're skimming the wall. Make sure it's all covered. Then you paste the membrane on top, and you put it on like as if you're putting wallpaper on. You'd scrape all the air bubbles out, give it a good push down. I put the plasterboard on with foam. Once that foam's dry, it trims up and you can sandpaper it, and then the whole lot is ready for skimming. Okay, I've trimmed all the foam up. I put Unibond on the walls where needed. The scrims on. So we're just going to start to plaster now. It's going to take 2 coats. So we'll put our first coat on. We'll leave that for a few minutes, and then we'll start applying our second coat. Okay, now we've got our first coat on. We're going to leave it for a few minutes while we knock up another mix. Right, that's the second coat on. So it's a case now of just waiting and troweling and troweling. So I've been troweling now for a while, and it's finished. So keep an eye out for my next video. We are down in London, damp working and refurbishing. See you next time.